reflects additional revenue inflows from government-owned enterprises, among which are the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigeria Customs Service.
The 2025 appropriation bill's total budget size will increase from 49.7 trillion to 54.2 trillion naira, demonstrating our commitment to inclusive growth and security.
Meanwhile, Senator Nadu Woko, representing Delta North, has, through a notice to the Senate, announced his defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Bishop Stephen Adegbite, has urged Nigerians to support the present administration to achieve its Renewed Hope initiative. He said this during an interactive session with the media as he clocks 1 year in office. He observes President Bola Tinubu's immense support for the NCPC, saying the body will continue to champion unity, progress, fairness, and accountability in Nigeria.
The chairman of the Hajj Commission, because the two of us must work in synergy, we must work in tandem, and beyond pilgrimage, we must be able to demonstrate and show to Nigerians that religion should not divide us. Religion should further unite us, and we must look at our area of convergence rather than area of divergence. And that is why I decided that today I'm a year old in the office. I must see my counterpart, which is the chairman of the Hajj Commission. And we had a wonderful time together.
Pilgrims to Israel and Jordan will continue to enjoy airlift till Easter this year, NCPC says. It is the dawn of another election in the Federal Capital Territory as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, releases election timetable and guidelines ahead of the 2026. Aisha Obali was on the streets to get reactions of stakeholders on this development.
In the last 3 years, the silence in the political arena here in the FCT has been so loud, and this deafening silence could be as a result of low-key political activities which might be happening at the background. But with the recent release of INEC timetable and guideline for the FCT election come 2026, stakeholders have continued to react and make observations. Most times, the phrase timetable is used within the academic environment. Well, it does not just end there. As for proper planning of events, a well-mapped out schedules, which stand as a guide, are required. Taking a cue from the schools, INEC hopes for a well-coordinated FCT area cancels elections and has acted promptly, just as stated in the Constitution, to release the FCT 2026 election timetable 365 days ahead of the election. This informed the bold step taken by the electorate umpire towards preparing for what it knows how to do best, the conduct of elections, but in this case, the FCT 2026 elections.
People are preparing, those who are aspiring, and of course, the umpires themselves are also putting their house in order. And that means that by February 26, hence we're going to have the full election, February 26, 2026. By February 26, 2025, the INEC will come up with their clear programs.
Despite that, we'll work with what we have. And I believe it will go well. The timing is good. So far, what I have seen so far, the spread of the timing is good. The many unanswered questions raised by interest groups seems to be answered with the release of these guidelines. These questions, particularly as regards to tenure elongation for the FCT executive, have been answered.
PAC as a body, an umbrella that covers all the registered political parties, were in line with what INEC have released, the guideline, 100% were in support.
FCT, as the nation's capital, has its peculiarities, especially on who superintends over the conduct of its elections, which is quite distinct from what is done in the states. From the electorate, the immediate step is to dust their voter cards. But before then, how much awareness do they have about these elections? Aside the accolades the Nigerian electoral empire has continued to receive, FCT residents are yearning for more improvement in the forthcoming elections by ensuring an increased voter participation.
For FCT election, I don't think we have problem with what INEC does. But for the election itself, that's what we are not aware of. But for, say, INEC to do the right thing and all of that, but as it is now, I'm not even aware that they have released timetable.
And I want to assure you that we are going to improve from what it used to be.
Yes, observations have been made. Everyone is getting ready. The political space is soon to get agog. But the key message from observers is that it behoves on all stakeholders to be transparent and committed to a free, fair, peaceful and credible election in the territory. Aisha Uba, NTE News.
You have probably heard the phrase, the day you stop reading, you stop dying. While it may sound like a cliche, research shows that reading is essential for promoting literacy and storytelling. To foster a love for reading and improve pronunciation skills, the FCT Education Resource Center recently brought together students, academics, and stakeholders to celebrate the World Read Aloud Day. Our education correspondent, Miriam George Jitobo, has the details.
A baby girl is born into the royal house of Bakwa in Zaria. She is named Amina by her parents.
13-year-old Nina O. Martins, founder of Nina's Book Drive, read to participants at the event. Experts say reading stimulates brain cells, and the 15th anniversary of World Read Aloud Day with the theme Sharing Diverse Voices provided a perfect opportunity for these young minds to practice their cognitive skills by reading out loud. Muazu Musa, the Almajiri ambassador, credits his love for reading to who he is today. He is a beneficiary of a scholarship from Hajiya Ruqayya to Inua Hussaini, former principal of Government Secondary School, Tudunwada, Wuse Zone 4, Abuja.
Whoever you see in this world that have become somebody today is through the school. That is why every day I'm motivating my brothers, the Almajiris, to go to school.
According to Nimat Abdrahim, Director, FCT Education Resource Center, reading promotes social interactions and broadens students' perspectives.
If all of us educators and other stakeholders join hands together to make this day a reality and a national thing, definitely I believe that it will bring us back to the library.
It's a commandment of God Almighty that everyone, every human being should read and seek knowledge so that we can have a perfect society.
However, stakeholders at the event agree that more needs to be done to encourage reading culture in Nigeria.
There is so much information that is loaded in books, so many information in the library, so much information in the internet.
Readers are leaders, and if you must be a leader, you must be reading.
We need to read to enjoy. We need to read to develop our skills in communication.
In a heartwarming moment, Nimat Abdrahim read a book about Fumilayo Ransom Kuti to the children, giving them a taste of storytelling under the sun. Mariam George, Jutbo, NTA News.
The FCT Police Command has arrested one Onu civilian following a fatal altercation that led to the death of Ifeanyi Chukwu at Utako Market, Abuja. In a statement signed by the command's PPRO, Superintendent Josephine Adi, the command received a distress call regarding a fight in Utako between Ono Simeon of Angwam Bigi Jabi Akibu and one Ifeanyi Chukwu of Kuchigoro Lugbe, who earlier engaged in a dispute over a space to display their goods for sale. The disagreement escalated into a physical confrontation, during which Ifeanyi Chukwu suddenly collapsed and lost consciousness. Police operatives swiftly responded to the scene, where Ifeanyi Chukwu was found lying unconscious on the ground. He was immediately rushed to NNPC Hospital Otaku by police operatives, where a medical doctor confirmed him dead. His remains have been deposited at a general hospital for further investigation. while the suspect, Ono Simeon, is currently in police custody as investigations continue. Further updates will be communicated in due course. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police FCT Command, CP Olatunji Disu, urges residents to adopt peaceful means of resolving disputes, emphasizing that the violence often leads to tragic and unpredictable consequences. He reassures the public of the command's unwavering commitment to maintaining law and order across the FCT. The leadership of Nasrullahil Party, Nasfat, says its modest contribution to societal peace and development, as well as social interventions and empowerment, are testament to the core principles and objectives of NASFAT 30 years ago. This was reiterated during the official flag-off of activities of NASFAT 30th anniversary by Kubwa branch. Abdullahi Ajia has the details.
Almighty Allah continue to bless NASFAT as an association.
The Kubwa branch of NASFAT has joined the global celebration of the Islamic organization's 30th anniversary. Members welcomed zonal and national leaders to the symbolic flag-off ceremony, kicking off a series of streamlined activities planned for the celebration.
We have done a lot in the area of social support to prisons, to clinics, patients in hospitals and all that. We have established about 5 hospitals across the nation in Nigeria. We have done a lot in the area of empowering our members and non-members through Zakat. It's empowering a lot of our youth, our women, and those who are really in need among us, and even non-Muslims. In NASFAT, we'll always continue to preach for peace, because without peace there can't be any development.
Since inception, our organization has taken a lead as an Islamic organization. We have done a lot of advocacy in terms of education, in terms of empowerment. We are agents of change in the society. And today I can tell you that women of NASFAT will have a very unique character in terms of discipline, in terms of how we conduct our asalatu, and in terms of what we give back to the community.
As NASFAT reflects on its over 3 decades of achievements, it has reassured its members and the public of enhanced spiritual and social interventions during and after the anniversary celebration.
We are extremely happy that NASFAT, National Life Society, has become a phenomenon. It's one of the greatest Islamic society in Nigeria, and we have made our impact not only in Nigeria, Africa, and all over the world. And that we are celebrating 30 is a milestone, and we thank Almighty Allah that we are alive to celebrate it with all our achievements and what we have been able to do for Islam and for the entire humanity.
The 30th anniversary celebrations, which began in September 2024 across 360 locations worldwide, is expected to reach its climax in March this year. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
You are watching the 1 p.m. news on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Still to come on the news. President Donald Trump makes shocking statement of United States taking over Gaza Strip. Details of these and other happenings around the globe will come shortly. Please stay tuned.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary health care center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Glad to have you back. Food security, which federal government has been yearning and advocating for, has received a boost as Root Crops International Farmers Market, an industry trade group, has kickstarted a 15-day annual trade fair in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Christy Ayagwa Adaju reports.
The federal government of Nigeria has been encouraging individuals, corporate societies, and corporate organizations to invest in agriculture for food security and economic prosperity in the country. It is on this premise that Root Crops International Farmers Market key into the clearing cause by organizing trade fair annually, where players on root crops value chain converged to display their products, services, as well as exchange ideas on new trends.
Root Crops really helping the ministry to add value to agricultural products and also contributing immensely to food security, which is the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. And in line with our President Renewed Hope agenda,
Nigerian farmers do have a lot of losses from post-harvest. So this is another forum to help preserve what has already been produced.
Use this opportunity to advise the root crops community to maintain. We help in attracting much more people to.
We sincerely apologize for that glitch. Let's now join Sandra Keme for the happenings around the globe.
Many thanks for joining us on The Globe this week, a segment that brings you happenings from around the world. I am Sandra Akem. In the United States, Trump has made a shocking statement saying the United States will take over the Gaza Strip, possibly with American troops, and that Palestinians living there should leave. This proposal would drastically change the Middle East dynamics and displace over 1 million people. Trump's expansionist aspirations are not limited to Gaza. He also expressed interest in acquiring Greenland, the Panama Canal, and even inviting Canada to become the 51st state of the United States. These ideas have sparked immediate backlash from neighboring nations and raised concerns about the potential for increased global tensions. Similarly, Donald Trump's latest move regarding South Africa involves threatening the country over its land expropriation policies. This development comes on the heels of his executive order to withdraw funding from the World Health Organization, which has already sparked widespread concern globally, with South Africa being no exception. It's worth noting that Trump's stance on South Africa's land reform efforts has been a point of contention in the past. The South African government has been working to address the country's historical land ownership inequalities, and Trump's criticism has been seen by many as an attempt to interfere in the country's internal affairs. And a devastating school shooting occurred in Sweden on February 4, 2025 at Campus Risberska, an adult education center in Örebro. A 35-year-old man opened fire, killing 11 people, including himself, and injuring 15 others. The attack began around 12:33 local time, with the perpetrator exchanging gunfire with police before being found dead. Nearby schools were put into lockdown, and the area was cordoned off. The Swedish Police Authority and the Swedish Security Service are investigating the motives behind the attack. This incident is considered one of the worst mass shootings in Swedish history, with Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson describing it as a very painful day for all of Sweden. The country has witnessed a rise in gun violence in recent years, with 60 deaths reported in 2022. In response to the tragedy, the Swedish government has announced plans to support the affected families and community. The incident has also sparked an outpouring of condolences from world leaders, including the King of Sweden and the President of the European Commission. And lastly, Beyoncé made history at the 67th Annual Grammy Awards by winning Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, marking a groundbreaking moment in her illustrious career. This win was especially significant as Beyoncé had been snubbed for the award 4 times previously, with many considering her overdue for recognition. With this victory, Beyoncé becomes the first Black woman to win Album of the Year since Lauryn Hill in 1999, and only the third Black woman to receive this honor. This momentous win has sparked widespread celebration, with fans and fellow artists alike praising Beyoncé's achievements. As cultural writer Elami Abdelmahmoud tweeted, Beyoncé has obviously long surpassed the need for Grammy validation, but this was about addressing the equation an other way around. In order for the rest of us to take the Grammys seriously, they had to fix their poor standing with the greatest working pop artists of our time. End of quote. Meanwhile, James McAvoy, Tim Ruth, Jessica Long, and Ed Harris are among a raft of Hollywood stars set to tread a red carpet at this year's Glasgow Film Festival. The event, scheduled to take place between February 26 and March 9, will feature 13 world and European premieres, 66 UK premieres, and 12 Scottish premieres from 38 countries. That's it on the Globe this week. The news continues with Mariam. I am Sandra Akemi.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu commiserates with the governorate people of Zamfara State over the tragic fire incident at an Islamic school where 17 lives were lost. In a statement she personally signed, the First Lady notes that the incident brings to mind once again the need for precautionary safety measures in all our public facilities. She prays that Almighty Allah gives the families and loved ones of the departed the fortitude to bear this painful loss and grants the souls of the departed Al-Jannah Firdaus. The statement expresses hope that such tragic incidents will not reoccur, not only in Zamfara State, but all over Nigeria. Over now to our sports desk for Sports Brief.
National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko has charged the Nigerian Football Federation to ensure the Super Eagles qualify for the 2026 World Cup. This comes as Nigeria sit in 5th place with just 3 points after 4 matches in their qualifying campaign, 4 points behind leaders Rwanda with 6 games left to play in the series. Diko made this known during NFF President Ibrahim Gusau's visit to the NSC Secretariat to brief him on preparations for the crucial World Cup qualifiers built for March. Meanwhile, Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye is back to full fitness and has returned to training for Italian club Udinese. The 25-year-old has been sidelined since December after undergoing surgery to repair a torn right wrist ligament. However, Tuto Udinese confirmed that Okoye had resumed training with his club and would be available for selection when they face Napoli.
And it's Alexander Isak, the frame of the goal, Murphy on the follow-up.
Elsewhere, Arsenal fell to a 2-0 defeat at St James's Park to Newcastle in the second leg of their League Cup semi-final on Wednesday night, bringing aggregate to 4-0 and losing out to the final at Wembley. The Gunners' attention will now be shifted to the Champions League and the EPL. To basketball, Nigeria's under-19 women's basketball team Junior D Tigers were yesterday drawn alongside Portugal, Canada and China in Group B of the 2025 Under-19 World Cup, scheduled to hold in Brno, Czech Republic from July 12 to 20. The draws was conducted by Czech Republic's former national team stars Ivana Becherova and Iva Vitekova, with Nigeria in Pot 4 alongside Hungary, Argentina and Brazil. In other pairings, USA, Israel, Hungary and Korea are in Group A. Group C has Australia, France, Brazil and Africa's second team, Mali. Group D contains Japan, Czech Republic, Argentina and Spain. With Sports Brief, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Sports Brief concludes the news at 1. But just before we go, a quick look at stories that made headlines. President Bola Tinubu has communicated the National Assembly requesting an increase to the 2025 budget currently under consideration by both chambers from 49 trillion to 54 trillion naira. And we also reported to you that the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, Bishop Stephen Adegbite, has urged Nigerians to support the present administration to achieve its renewed hope initiative. Thank you very much for watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Do join us at 7 p.m. for more news. Good afternoon.